Hey guys, this is the video for homework number 5. I'm gonna write that down. I'm also playing a little music in the background, hoping that it will help to drown out the sound of the TV at my house. Because I noticed when I did my algebra video, it didn't, you could hear it, so we'll see. So homework number 5, and this is mainly all on translations. We're gonna focus on translations this week, we'll focus on reflections next week, and then we'll do rotations the week after that. So there's 3 topics. The first topic is just being able to graph the image. So it's going to start out giving you points. So this is topic XUS. And so if you go in then and look at it, it's basically, it tells you how much to translate it. So translate 5 units down. Remember, translate just means slide. So you're just moving it over, down, whatever direction it tells you. So if I'm standing here at L and I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units down, I end up here. So this is L prime. Remember that little dash apostrophe, L prime. So it's going to basically have me, I wrote it on with my pen, but it's going to have you choose that point with your mouse. I'm going to erase all that actually. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I end up there, and then you just submit it. So then for this one, I'm going to be at the point -3, -7, which it puts on here for me. And it tells me to go 6 units to the left. So I'm just going to go over to the left and count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just to point out, because just from dealing with students over the years, I definitely understand some of the mistakes they make. When you are counting, 6, you start with the one that's the first step over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's move on. So then -1, -2. So this time, instead of just moving one direction, I'm moving 2 directions, right? So I have 8 units to the right, but also 8 units down. So if I'm here and I go 8 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units to the right, and then 8 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my point would be here. So I also wanted to point out to you, so I'm gonna, see it because of all that pen I have over it. There we go. I'm gonna also point out to you that if you're actually looking at the point -1, -2, if I'm going 8 units to the right, that's in the positive direction. So that's kind of like I'm saying I'm gonna add 8 to X. And then if I'm going 8 units down, that's in the negative direction, which is like saying I'm subtracting 8. And so if you look at what you get if you solve these 2 math problems here, -1 plus 8 gives me 7. And then -2 minus 8 gives me -10. These are the coordinates of the new point. 7, -10 is here. So I go, oh, sorry, I have my mouse on there too while I'm trying to draw on it. So if I go over 7 and then down 10, I also end up at that point. So I just wanted to point out that this is also mathematical. You could do this without counting on the actual graph. You could calculate what the numbers would be by adding or subtracting the right amount. All right, so this one I'm going 10 units to the left and then 2 units up. So if I draw that, let's scroll. So I'm gonna 10 units to the left. So if I'm standing here and I go 10 units to the left, I'm gonna go all the way over to the y-axis here. And then 2 units up means that from here I'm gonna go up 2. So I end up there at that point. So I think if I erase that pen I just drew over it, you'll be able to see it. Yep. So this was 10 left, right? Because I went that way, and then 2 up because I went here. If I look at that as numerical, so here's my original point. So my X is here, my Y is here. If I'm going 10 units to the left, that's in the negative direction on X. So I'm basically subtracting 10. And if I'm going 2 units up, then that's the positive direction on y. So I'm technically adding 2. So if I solve these two math problems here, I get 10 minus 10, which is 0. And then negative 6 plus 2, which is negative 4. So my new point is 0, negative 4, which it is. Makes sense. All right, this one says graph the whole picture. So I want to make sure that you know you're still moving the points. So instead of looking at this as a whole rectangle, look at it as 4 points because you'll make less mistakes if you move each point. So I'm going to take each point and move it 10 units to the left and then 8 units up. So 10 this direction and then 8 up. So if I look at S, I can go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is S prime. Then I can kind of pay attention to points this way, right? I can move it the same direction over 8 or over 10 and then up 8. But I also know that there's a distance here of 3. So now that I have this point here, I can draw in 3 and count these. So across here, it looks like I have 3, 6, 9, 10, right? We've said that. I'm going to go all the way over 10, and that's going to give me R. So here's R prime. This one is P prime, and that means that here would be Q prime. So that's where my shape ends up. So basically, I have taken the whole shape. So I took this whole thing and moved it over 10. So 10 left. And then I moved it up 8. All right, let's see how they want us to answer that question. So can I, oh, look, I got it lined up the right way. Okay, so let's see if I just click these. Yep. All right, I'm going to delete all that then. All right, so here we are. I can double check to make sure if I look at just S, I went over 10, and then I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Awesome. So they do have you can move the whole shape. This one is just 8 up. So I'm just going up 8 for each one. So if I'm standing here at 0 and I go up 8, I'm going to be up here for D. And then it looks like C is 5 units away. So I'm going to make this length 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then E looks like if I go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry, 8, 6, 7, 8 would be here. So let's draw on this a little bit just so you can see everything. Basically, I took point D and I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and ended up there for D. So that's D prime. C is the same thing. If I go up 8, I end up here. But I also know this is a distance of 5. So this has to be a distance of 5. It's going to be the same. And then for E, if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it ends up here. So this is E prime here. All right. I think this is pretty good on this one. I think you're probably pretty good to move forward. So it's just going to kind of keep having you do the same type of problems, moving these shapes around or the points around, I guess, also in some cases. When you move on to the next topic then, so that definitely really relates to this. So this one is topic RUP. And on this one, it's just asking you to find the coordinate. So instead of marking the point, you're going to type in the coordinate. So if I were to go through and figure this out, -4, -1, if I translate that 1 unit to the left, it ends up here. So E prime is there. So I just need to type in the coordinates for that. So if that was -4, -1 to begin with, this is -5, -1, right? Put my cursor here. -5 and -1. So I just need to figure out where the new point ends up being. So I think that you probably are pretty okay with this topic overall. If I'm looking at this point P, 1, -5, then if I go up 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, I end up here. which is the 0.1, -1. Awesome. So I'm gonna go forward a little. So it does have a situation where you're doing the whole shape. So let's go through and do that one together once. Keep in mind, you can hold a piece of paper up and trace things. That might help a little bit if you're having a hard time. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here and say, let's start with R. Let's switch colors, red. So I'm going down 4 units. So for R, I'm gonna go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and I end up with R prime here. For S, I'm gonna go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and I end up with S prime here. And then for T, I'm gonna go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and I end up with T prime there, which means that when I reattach all the points, I get the same shape I started with. So now I just need to enter in the coordinates mostly. You don't have to draw it, but just so you guys can see it visually. So R is now at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -5, -1. And then S is now at -5, +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then T, or I'm sorry, T was at -2, 0, but now since I moved it down, it's at -2, -4. Oh, I must have typed in something wrong. Let's see here. This was the correct answer, and I typed in, oh, I missed a negative sign on this one, see? I'm sure when we go back, I'll stop it. And you guys are watching it and tell you that. So anyway, just be very careful. It is definitely very easy to miss that stuff. The other thing is that you could go through, oh, look, it's gonna make me go back so that way I can practice a little bit more. That's good. You can also go through and use it as a math problem. So that's what you're doing on this one, is you're trying to decide, how did this get from this purple shape here, UV, the original shape, how did it move up to the green shape? So again, it would just take a little bit of figuring out. If I compare 1 point, let's say I look at you, I had to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So up 11, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I went to the right 9. So if I'm going up 11, that's the same as plus 11 for the Y. So this is going to be plus 11 here for the Y part. And then for the X part, since I went to the right 9, that's also like the positive. So I'm going to put a 9 in there. And that's how far I moved it. So you're just having to count how much you move from one to the next. So let's see if I do this one also. So this one, I'm going from this purple shape, FHG, to F prime, H prime, G prime. So again, if I'm counting, just say from F, I'm going to the left this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I went 9 to the left, and then I have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So down 9. Notice that this again would be -9 because it's going down, and this would be -9 because it's going to the left. And that's why it has minus signs here and here, like built in, but both numbers would be 9. All right, I don't think this is overly difficult. And I think if you watch these videos again, I think sure it'll make sense. I did want to just write down though, just as a reminder, if you're looking at a coordinate plane and you're talking about Y, which is up and down, this is the positive direction and this is the negative direction. And then if you're talking about X, this is the negative direction left, and then this is the positive direction. So when you're talking about writing a rule, like on this one, if I'm moving over a certain amount, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going in the positive direction 10. So this will be X plus 10. And then I'm going down from 9 all the way. So that's another 10. So I'm going down 10, but this time it's in the negative direction. So this would be y minus 10. Let's fill that in and see. See, and it already fills in the signs for me, which is pretty helpful. So you don't have to worry as much about making mistakes on that. So I'm going in the positive direction 10 for x, and I'm going in the negative direction 10 for y. So that's kind of what I was saying about these problems. When you get to the point where you're trying to find these coordinates, you can view this as math if you want to. Like, for example, if you're saying that point A here is at the coordinates, I have to go to -9 and then down to -8. So -9, -8. If I'm going to the right one and up one, that means I'm adding 1 to both of these. So I could add 1 to my x and add 1 to my y. So this one is x plus y. This is, or I'm sorry, x plus 1. This is y plus 1. If I add 1 to each one of these, I end up with my a. -9 plus 1 means it'll be at -8. And then -8 plus 1 means that'll be at -7. So you could do that for all of these. So if I went through and said, okay, well then b is at negative, oh, I'm sorry, 0, -8. Be careful, very easy to make a mistake there. If I add 1 then to both of those, I could get the answer. For C, I'm at 0, -2. So I can add 1 to both of those. And then for D, I'm at -9, -2. So I can add 1 to both of those. So if I go through and then refill all that in by adding 1 to each one, B was 1, -7. C is at 1, -1. And then D would be at -8, -1. Nice job. So you can look at it visually, or you could also look at it mathematically if that helps. Okay, I think we've talked about this enough that you can probably make sense of this. Although if you need help, please ask. We can go into a breakout room and work, or you could even send me a screenshot in an email and I can send you back some notes on it so that hopefully you'll understand if you don't want to have a face-to-face or if you don't have time. Okay, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.